Dayton was actually the first school that I talked to. As soon as I came here and talked to the coaches, I knew that I loved it, but I didn't want to commit to a school right away. So I kept talking to other schools and visited other schools, but Dayton always just had every aspect I was looking for.
For Dayton soccer junior Alex Powell, the game has been a passion of hers ever since she was a little girl.
Soccer's always been a huge part of my life. Both my brothers played. My family's always been super athletic, and I met all my best friends through soccer, and soccer's always been my sport, so it's been a huge part of my life.
She was always the tiniest of tiny, just her size, but she never saw it. But she always played with confidence, she just remembered the basics. She learned to be very quick, very smart.
She always seemed to know where the ball was going to end up, not where it was currently. So she knew where to place herself. I mean, she just had this instinct for where the ball was going to be.
But on October 3rd, 2015, Alex's soccer career and life would change forever.
So I was a senior in high school, and I remember having shoulder pain anytime I was running or moving. It was really just throbbing all the time. So I had an orthopedic doctor, and he thought I had torn my labrum. So he had me get an MRI, and I came back a few days later, and he hadn't looked at the MRI yet, and he came into the room and pulled it up, and it was the first time any of us had seen it, and there was a big mass in my in the picture of the MRI. I remember thinking at the time, I didn't really understand what was going on. I didn't really get, oh, that's a tumor. Mass and tumor weren't the same thing to me.
48 hours later, Alex would undergo a biopsy to determine if what was inside her shoulder was something that could be life-threatening.
We had to go to same-day surgery, and we were sitting there for 2 hours, and nobody had come in and said anything, and we're getting nervous at this point, what's going on? So a doctor finally came in and was so we're gonna put you under and do a biopsy, and we're gonna send it off and check for cancer. And they said that, and I was what? And I broke down, I was crying, and all these nurses and doctors are in there, and they're all what? Didn't you know this was gonna happen? And I was we're what? And everybody was kind of confused. I was no, I wasn't thinking cancer, mass, didn't mean that to me. So I was pretty nervous.
The results of the biopsy showed that it was not cancer, but a desmoid tumor, a rare disorder that affects only about 3 in a million people per year.
So a desmoid tumor is also called aggressive fibromatosis, and it's basically fibrous tissue that grows out of control, and fibrous tissue is pretty dense and hard, so it's a hard mass that grows, and it can grow through your muscles and in your bones and stuff, which is why they're so dangerous. And mine is right here, actually, in my shoulder. So it's not cancerous because not malignant, it doesn't grow to other parts of my body, but they used to be called cancerous because they're so aggressive, and mine is very aggressive because it grows back very fast.
3 months later, the tumor would return. To fight it, Alex would have to start chemotherapy just a couple days before starting her freshman year at Dayton.
She started taking the drug literally 2 days before she left for college her freshman year. I mean, so we had no idea what it was going to do to her. She had no idea, and she's going into with roommates that she'd never met before.
With the chemo working, Alex started her freshman season playing in 4 games and even scoring a goal. But shortly after that, her season was cut short.
So I was on those for 9 months, and then I went off, thinking maybe, because it shrunk it down 99%, it was almost gone. The drugs were is a miracle. It was awesome. And so then I went off the drugs thinking well, maybe it'll just stay that size. And so when it came back, and having them tell me, you can kind of read the doctors, when there's bad news. And so I was they were getting ready to tell me, and I was no way. I just had a bet. So then they told me that it had come back, and I had to restart the chemo drugs. I wasn't gonna be able to play this season, so it was a lot in one day, and it was just kind of are you kidding? All this other stuff, I've done everything that I was supposed to do, and I just couldn't catch a break at the time. So that was definitely hard.
In a 4-year span, Alex has had 9 surgeries, countless doctor's appointments, while receiving chemo for 32 months.
Why does this keep happening? That's what I kept asking myself, like why me? This isn't fair, like it just wasn't fair. Like that. Like that was definitely a low moment. But like for me to look back and know that like I got through all that, like even though I felt so horrible at the time, like that's what makes like me proud of myself.
But even during her lowest moments, Alex found a way to inspire the people around her.
I mean, every season has its peaks and valleys, and sometimes when you're in some of those valleys and you're going through some challenging times, or whether it's results aren't going your way, or stress is adding up through soccer and school, I think it's important to kind of take a step back sometimes and really think about your why as to why you do this and why you go through this, the demands of being a student athlete.
I think we were kind of in a rut. We had been losing a couple games, and so we all kind of wrote down our why we do things, and how we're going to do them, how are we going to make ourselves better and everything, and why are we going to do it. So we all took time to write on a piece of paper why we play soccer, or why we continue to put ourselves through, waking up early every day or something. And our coach gave us the option to share, and she put her hand up. And it was like the first time that she had ever put her hand up to ever do that, because she does get pretty emotional when she talks about it. And she didn't get like 3 words out before she started to kind of cry. And I think everyone at that point knew she was gonna like share a lot more. She kind of explained what she was going through, and mentally what it means to sit on the sideline and feel like people aren't putting forth 100% effort when she wishes she could be out there to even try, or to even do anything, but she can't. It just kind of makes you rethink everything about like the effort that you put in. And I think Alex gave a really good perspective on that to a lot of girls that maybe were kind of thinking about, maybe this doesn't matter as much, but she always reinforced how much it did.
It took a tremendous amount of courage for her to open up and discuss experiences that she's been through, and just some of the emotions involved with that. It's been heartbreaking at times to kind of watch her have to struggle through some of these things. But on the flip side, it's incredibly inspiring to see how she's gone about that process and the grace by which she's handled it. And I think now she's even taken another step, and she's using her experience and her story to really positively impact and influence other people. It's just really powerful, and we're really proud of her.
She's just strong. I guess that's it. My daughter Alex is strong. She, nothing really faces her. I mean, it does, but she doesn't let her, I guess. She doesn't let her change her, maybe for a moment as she processes the information, but it's her strength, I guess, that just wins out. And that's why she'll continue to be successful no matter what.
Whatever she decides she's going to do, she sees it through. And she keeps a very positive attitude while she's doing it. And you can count on her. If she says she's going to do something, she will do it. And she'll take it all the way, over the goal line.
And with 1 year left at Dayton, Alex looks to finish with the strength that she came with.
They say your minutes, like how many minutes you played on senior day. Mine's gonna be 32 minutes or something. I have no idea what could happen, but like just being able to know that like I did what I wanted to do, and like I stayed on the team when like a lot of other people may have quit, like that's what's important to me, I think, is knowing that I proved to myself I could still do it even though all that happened all 4 years, and like being able to tell people like, yeah, I had a desmoid tumor and I was taking chemo drugs, but I played Division I soccer, like that's really cool to me.